The 50% crop restraint for the Wildlife in Focus contest for 2021 means that as photographers we have to have a mechanism to make sure that when we crop an image we don't remove more than 50% of the pixels that were in the image at the time we captured it. I'm going to show you how to do it. It's pretty straightforward. We'll start with a spreadsheet. So the Nikon D500 has an effective megapixel number of 20.9. When we enter that, the spreadsheet will return to us the critical information we need to make sure that when we crop no more than 50% of the image. We've calculated this for 4 different standard crop ratios: 4:6, 5:7, 8:10, and 11:14, because those are very common, very standard ratios from which prints are made. So in the future, if you decide to make some prints from photos that you have in the contest here, you can use these standard ratios. You can crop them very quickly to the right size. We're not constrained to these ratios, however, in the contest. The critical information for us is the information that comes in this column with the pixels on the long axis. So we'll do a 4:6 crop of the dragonfly photograph that we saw earlier, and that number for us, the critical number, is 3959. At 3959 on the long axis and 2639 on the short axis will return exactly 50% of the pixels. So we want those numbers to be a little larger than that. Back to the image here. You'll notice that Lightroom provides information on the number of pixels in the photograph in this corner. Now, if this information doesn't pop up on your screen when you open Lightroom, just hit the I on your computer keyboard and that information will immediately appear. So we'll crop this image, and we want again to use 3959 as our critical number. And we'll start. It's 4618 right here. It's 3990. That's a little bit more than 3959, but that's close enough. And so what that tells us is the image inside that crop rectangle represents 50% of all the pixels in the photograph. It also tells us that we can expand the crop from here, which we would want to do in this case, but we cannot make it any smaller. So we'll crop this just a bit more, or expand the crop just a bit more rather. And we'll go there. That's not bad. And that tells us then that the final image has 4,782 pixels along the long axis, which is greater than 50% of the total area of the image. Now we'll make this spreadsheet available to any photographer in the Wildlife in Focus contest rather, who requests it. All you have to do is just ask Marissa Ford, get in touch with her at Wildlife in Focus, and she'll send you a copy. And thanks to my friend Bubba Stinson, whose conversation with me about pixel density and output size led to the brainstorm that came up with this strategy. So thanks, and keep on pushing that shutter button.